obviously we've got the three main categories. We have the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. Now, in all the three tenses, we still have this like the subtypes. Okay, so there's the present simple, the present continuous, the present perfect, the present perfect continuous in the present tense. For the past tense, we have the past simple, the past continuous, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous. And as for the future, we have the future simple, the future continuous, the future perfect, and the future perfect continuous. Now এখানে আরো কয়েকটা আছে, but don't be like surprised or startled. এটা হলো যে when you like we tend to use uh, this kind of structures at a more advanced level. So এদেরকে বলা হয় conditionals, which is obviously it's like almost the structure is if plus the result. So এটা করলে ওইটা হবে. Now there are 5 types in this category. We've got the zero conditional, then there's the first conditional. So আমরা we call the zero and the first are known as the real conditionals. So যেগুলো হইতে পারে. And the second conditional, the third conditional, and the misconditional are known as unreal conditionals. মানে এটা হলো যে বাস্তবে হইতে পারে না. But then again, these are just conditions which are not like possible or are not real. এগুলো. So just to recap, এটা হলো যে এখানে these are the English verb tenses. Now, as said when I started this session, we will go through the 5 most commonly used verb tenses in everyday spoken English and grammar. So এখানে first of all we'll go through the present simple or the present indefinite tense. Our এই টেন্সটা হলো যে normally in our everyday life we use it more than 50% or over 50% because obviously we live in the present, and so it tends to অনেকবার use করা হয়. Now if you look here, obviously so it's mostly commonly used where মানে আমরা হলো যে in what type of situation আমরা use করি. So normally আমরা in this type of situations আমরা use করি when we talk about facts and statements that are always true. So যদি একটা if it's a factual statement, ওই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা we use the present simple. Example, the sun rises in the east. This is a universal fact. এটা হলো যে সবাই জানে যে the sun rises in the east. এই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা present simple tense use করি, আমরা অন্য tense use করি. Then we also talk about statements that are true in the present. Example, cricket is the most popular sport in Bangladesh. Eta shotto. So obviously this is a statement which is true in the present time. Okay. And then thirdly, we talk about routine actions or habits in the present, often followed by an adverb of frequency. Example, I walk daily. আমি প্রতিদিন হাঁটি অথবা আমি প্রতিদিন walk করি. All right. Then next, we use it when we refer to scheduled, or if you want to say scheduled events in the future. Example, this is just it's an example. Bangladesh's match against Australia kicks off at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So this is an example of when we're referring to an event in the future, but যেটা হচ্ছে scheduled, like we already know that it's going to happen at that time in the future. ওই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা we use the present simple. Then last but not the least, আমরা এটা use করি when we want to give directions or instructions. Example, in the context of Bangladesh, like or in Dhaka, like specifically, to get to Motijil from Uttara, take the metro rail. So when আমরা যখন একটা দিব যে direction বা instruction যখন দেই, we also use the present simple. And remember that this is used over 50% in everyday English conversations, or when we in everyday English you could say usage when we talk about things. All right. Then next, we've got the past simple or the past indefinite, and এটা হলো যে so English people or the British, like the natives, ওরা হলো যে they use this about 20% of the time. So এটা হলো যে কোন জায়গাতে কাজে লাগে. So normally when we talk about the past simple, we're talking about completed actions in the past. So actions যেগুলো পাস্টে কমপ্লিট হয়েছে, সো ওইসবগুলো নিয়ে আমরা কথা বলি। So example, or like if you talk about the first kind of situation, to describe actions that happened at a specific time in the past. Like for example, I went home last week. আমি গত সপ্তাহে আহ, বাসায় গেলাম, বাসায় গিয়েছিলাম। So this is an example of a, you could say, of a specific time or event in the past. All right. Then amrology even we use when we are narrating a series of past events. For example, David got up, ate his breakfast, and went to the office. So এখানে ডেভিড ঘুম থেকে উঠলো, ও ব্রেকফাস্ট করলো, and then ও অফিস চলে গেল। So we also use the past simple when we're narrating a series of past events. So past যেগুলো আগে হয়েছে। Then, thirdly, we use it when we want to express habitual or repeated actions in the past. Example, I used to run daily. আমি আগে প্রতিদিন uh, you could say, দৌড়াতাম. Like I used to run daily. Next, we talk about past states or conditions. আগে কেমন ছিল অথবা আগে কেমন ওই অবস্থা কেমন ছিল। So for in this example, I was quite tired yesterday. আমি গতকাল অনেক tired ছিলাম। So this is an example of a of a past condition or a state. কেমন ছিল। Next, we go through the future simple or the future indefinite, and this is used about 8% of the time. All right, and we use this when we talk about, you could say, on the spot decisions. আপনি যখন লাইক নগদে আপনি যখন একটা ডিসিশন নিয়ে নেবেন, ওই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা ফিউচার সিম্পল বা ফিউচার ইনডেফিনিট ইউজ করি। এক্সাম্পল, obviously this is a clause, like this is you could say it's uh, a compound sentence. I am feeling tired, I will go to sleep. So এখানে হলো যে কি, যেহেতু আমার টায়ার্ড লাগতেছে, আমি ঘুমায় পড়বো। So I am feeling tired, I will go to sleep. So the I will go to sleep is a spontaneous or on the spot decision. একটা decision নিলাম on the spot. Then we also use the future simple when we're making predictions. Example, if I say, it will rain tonight. হইতে পারে না হইতে পারে, but I'm just predicting that it will rain tonight. Then we also use the future simple when we're making promises. Example, if I say, I will come to your house tomorrow. আমি আপনার বাসায় আগামী কালকে আসবো বা আগামীকাল আসবো। In that case, we also use the future simple tense while making promises. Then we use it also when making offers. আমি যদি কিছু অফার করি, I can say, for example, I will help you if you ask me. তুমি তুমি যদি আমাকে আপনি যদি আমাকে ask করেন for help, আমি অবশ্যই হেল্প করব। Then last but not the least, we also use when making request. Example, will you pass me the book? আপনি কি আমাকে বইটা পাস করবেন? So this is a request. So in this case, we also use the future simple or the future indefinite tense. All right. Next, moving on to the present perfect tense. So this tense is used about 6% of the time in everyday spoken English and grammar. So in the first type, where do we use? We use kori when we talk about unfinished states or actions that started in the past. So obviously, a action টা past এ শুরু হয়েছিল, but it's like not yet complete. It's still ongoing in the present. So he has been with us for about a month now. So obviously, this event or this action started about a month ago. So এক মাস আগে ওই like this situation or this you could say this event happened or this incident, but to the present it is still continuing. Next, we use it when we are talking about completed actions that are relevant to the present. So obviously, actionটা তো কমপ্লিট হয়েছে, but for the present moment it is still relevant. Example, he has reached home just now. ও এখনই মাত্র ও বাসায় পৌঁছলো। So example, obviously maybe ও অফিস থেকে আসছে বা স্কুল থেকে আসছে, or etc. Some other examples. But the point is that যদিও বা অ্যাকশনটা কমপ্লিট হয়েছে, বাট বিকজ ফর দ্য প্রেজেন্ট মোমেন্ট এটা রেলেভেন্ট, we also use this we also use the present perfect in this case. Then we use it when talking about life events and experiences. In this example, if you can see here, I have traveled to several places in my lifetime. So, আমার lifetime এ আমি অনেক জায়গাতে ঘোরাফেরা করছি. So, I've gone to many places in my lifetime. So, this is also used when talking about life events and experiences. Or, fourthly, we use it when we talk about actions or events at an unspecified time in the past. So it doesn't matter. It could be at any point in the past, it doesn't matter. But the only thing that matters is that যে এটা হয়েছিল. So I have tried that dish. So I don't know. So there's no specific time mentioned, but the point is that আমি তো যে ওই ফুডটাকে ট্রাই করছি. I have tried that dish. So that's all matters, that it has happened. Now, and then finally, we've come to the fifth most used tense, which is the present continuous. So, আমরা কথা use করি present continuous, all right? So, we use, and this is used about 5% of the time in everyday language. We use the present continuous when we want to describe things happening right now. যদি কিছু একটা এই মুহূর্তে যদি কিছু একটা কিছু চলতেছে অথবা কিছু একটা হচ্ছে. Example, I am running. I mean, দৌড়াচ্ছি. Like, so, at this point in time, I am running. So this is talking about an action যেটা এখন চলতেছে. And then, second, we also use the present continuous when we talk about activities that are not permanent. যেটা permanent না, but just হলো যে present এর জন্য এটা relevant. So in the present continuous, এটা relevant. So এক্ষেত্রে আমরা use করি. I am going to try that course for 3 months. আমি ওই কোর্সটা 3 মাসের জন্য ট্রাই করব. And based on it হয়তো আরো extend করতে পারে অথবা ওইটা বন্ধ করতে পারে. But the point is that what we kind of use the present continuous when we want to talk about activities যেগুলো permanent না. Then we also use it to discuss plans or events that will happen in the future. Example, আমি যদি বলি I am going home next month. আমি সামনের মাসে বাসায় চলে যাব অথবা বাসায় যাচ্ছি. আমি সামনের মাসে বাসায় যাচ্ছি. So I am going home next month. So যখন প্ল্যানস বা ইভেন্টস যেটা ফিউচার হবে এটা নিয়ে যদি ডিসকাস হয় এই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা ওখানে প্রেজেন্ট কন্টিনিউয়াস ইউজ করি. Then we also use the present continuous যদি আমরা if we discuss or if we talk about actions happening around a specific time. যদি কিছু একটা স্পেসিফিক সময়ে একটা অ্যাকশন চলতেছে ওই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা প্রেজেন্ট কন্টিনিউয়াস ইউজ করি. For example, he is studying right now, but he will call you once he is free. So ও এখন লেখাপড়া করছে অথবা করতেছে. So right now he is busy. So obviously he'll not be able to contact you or receive your call. But পরে যখন ও ফ্রি হবে then he will call you. তখন ও আপনাকে কল দিয়ে দেবে. So এটা হলো যে about a specific time. এই সময় ও লেখাপড়া করতেছে. All right? Now, and then the fifth point where we tend to use the present continuous is আমরা যখন কিছু একটা describe করি, like especially things that are gradually changing or improving. Example, his health is slowly improving, which is a good sign. Or healthটা হলো যে আস্তে আস্তে করে ইমপ্রুভ হচ্ছে, and এটা একটা ভালো একটা sign. All right? So if you see here, if you talk, like if I kind of like summarize or go back or recap what happened or what we discussed, এখানে দেখতে পারবেন যে the present simple is used over 50% of the time. So in our everyday spoken English or grammar conversations, or like when we talk or speeches, আমরা হলো যে half the time or more than half the time আমরা present simple use করি. And this is kind of true for like the English language. And then again, the next most popular tense is the past simple, and এটা হলো যে around 25 to 20% use করা হয়. All right? Then the thirdly is the future simple, which is used around 8%, followed by the present perfect যেটা আমরা around 6% of the time use করি in our everyday conversations. And lastly, we use like the fifth most popular is the present continuous যেটা আমরা around 5% use করি. So there are situations যেখানে আমরা ইউজ করি. So obviously if you see here I've kind of explained and discussed about যে কোন সিচুয়েশনে আমরা কি টেন্সটা ইউজ করি and কোথায় কোথায় জায়গাটা আমরা ইউজ করতে পারি. Alright, in which cases আমরা ইউজ করতে পারি. So in the present simple we've got in around 5 cases আমরা ইউজ করতে পারি. Then in the past simple there are around in 4 cases আমরা ইউজ করতে পারি. For future simple around in 5 kind of different most common use cases. Then for present perfect around 4 most common use cases, and lastly for the present continuous around 5 cases আমরা use করি. In around 5 situations আমরা use করি এটা. Now we've come to the end of our lesson. Going back to the main here. So আজকের সেশনে কার কি কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে? For today's session, does anyone have any questions? I suppose nobody's any questions. So in that case, I will be ending to this session, and I will see you all once again in our next session with a new topic, an interesting topic which will be kind of beneficial for everybody. All right then, Shabai, kind of good night, take care, and I will see you all again in the next session.